Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back as always. Huge massive thank you for the support and welcome to all of my new subscribers as well. So coming back today with this Tales Decoupage toppers, and today I thought I would bring out the Jack Russell Terrier and the Beagle. So I've got two sort of card styles. I'm pretty sure they're going to work, fingers crossed. But let's see how we get on. Okay, so I'm going to pop that just to the side, and I'll pop that to the side as well for a minute. So I'm going to bring in a piece of 300 GSM white card. This is a 12 by 6, but I am going to cut it down, so you could do it out of an A4 if you wanted to. I need to get that little arm out. There we go. And I'm going to cut this down to 8 inches, so it's going to be 8 by 6. So even if you've got any of those card blanks from Hunkydory, they're 8 by 6, you would be able to take one of the card fronts off there as well. I'm going to put that away for a minute. I don't think we need that for a minute. I want to do some of the assembling. Okay, so this one I'm going to score at 2 inches. So it's still going to make a 6 by 6 card. And I'm just going to fold that over. Actually, I'm going to go that way over. Just slightly whiter on one side than the other, I find. Okay, so that is the base of a card. Now, what I have done beforehand, I know that's not very often that I do that, but what I have done, let me just grab them, is I have cut some 1/2 inch strips. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're 1/2 inch by 5 1/4. And I have done 3 that are 5 3/4, just over. I don't think it really matters on the length. It can be anything from 6 inches sort of down. You probably want to be staying around about the 5 1/2 mark, somewhere between there. But it doesn't have to be exactly what I've done for the length, because it's going to go across here. So the next thing I'm going to do, and this bit might be a little bit tedious, so I apologise, just on these pieces here on one end, I'm just going to round them. So these are going to be my fence posts, and from what I've seen when I've been out and about, there seems to be 2 types of fence post, the sort of pointy one or this sort of roundy one. So I kind of thought that this roundy one is going to be easier for me to recreate, but if you wanted to go ahead and do it into a point, oops, keep that in the corner, there we go. You may even have a die that is this length. Most of the dies I have tend to be quite small, pickety, fancy ones. Okay, so let me just get rid of those. And then we've got our fences here. Okay. So I've got 6 of them, not 5, so apologies. Yeah. And these ones I'm keeping straight, because usually the cross beams tend to be straighter. Okay, and then what I want to do is, let me just grab a little bit of tape to keep the inside of that card down. It's just going to make it easier when I'm working on it. So I'm just rolling that over, popping that in. Hopefully that should stay down for us. So these are going to come across. Now what I want to do is kind of evenly spread them out. So if I put one there and one there, one around about in the middle, one there, and then if I shift you over a little bit, and go in there. Okay, what I want to do as well is just make sure that these are going to go across all of them, so that's going to be fine. Okay, so I'm going to be using my tacky glue on this one. So you can use your red liner tape if you want to. What I'm going to do is just line that up with the bottom of the card, because I still want it to function as a card. And just putting that by eye as straight as I can. So hopefully by the time I've got to the end one, these should be quite nicely dry for me. And again, just keeping these sort of in the spaces that they were. You know, it is handmade, so I'm not expecting it to be perfect. I'm just wanting it to look like it's a fence. Okay. Again, just lining that up with the bottom. Oops. And obviously just make sure you put a little bit of glue at the top. You don't want it to be coming over, although this type of glue would dry clear and it hasn't actually got anything to stick onto. And if you wanted to vary the length of these, you know, sometimes you have these fences that go like that, you definitely could. I think this card would look stunning in craft card. If you wanted to, you could go ahead and emboss them if you've got a wood grain die. I have got one and I did think about doing it, and then at the last minute I decided not to, because I thought not everybody is going to have a wood grain die. Okay, so then I want to work out where these go. So this is going to keep the structural sort of integrity of our card, and I'm hoping I don't need any support behind it. Actually, I'm going to go quite high with that one. But if it is, then obviously we can just pop a little bit of acetate behind. So I just want these cross beams to be somewhere around it in the middle. And then what I'm going to do is just come along of glue, and this should glue really well to it. It should give us that strength that we want. And it should also just give us that little bit of window time to move that if we're not quite happy. I think there's good. I've just got a little hair there that keeps coming along. Like I say, if you are a bit wary about using the tacky glue, then you know obviously you can swap that out for your red liner tape. Okay, and then this last one, I think we probably need to go up just a little bit. I could have done with going that way just a tiny tad. So traditionally, a sort of most fences would only have two sort of cross posts anyway, but we are going with 3 just to try and make sure we are keeping the strength in our card. And obviously you don't even have to go to 2 inches. You could shorten this right down if you wanted to, but I was just trying to keep in mind the sort of height of the dogs and such. Okay, so now I was wondering why that wouldn't open, and then I remembered I put the tape inside. So if I open that up, just put that in that little bin. Oh, that's moved. And then that should still stand as a normal card. They do on Pinterest, but that never means a thing really, does it? But there we go. So that's how we are at the moment. So let's do, so I'm just going to put a sentiment over the top. So I'm not decorating in any way. If you want anything behind there, decorate it first. All of the sort of examples that I've seen on Pinterest have all been white with just a stamped greeting, so that's why I've kept it white. Sorry, just grabbing a drink, got really dry throat. So I need to put my backing in. So I've got a piece of gold because the foiling is all gold. And as usual, excuse me, Mr. Tape, I'm going to take 2 notches off this layer, and I'm going to take 2 notches off that other side. And this is going to go on our inside, so I'm hoping that's going to fit quite nicely. Yep, happy with that. And then the book, I'll put that over here. And I thought I would go with the page that is a garden. So this is looking into sort of next door's garden. You could have the outdoor scene, you could have the park, you could have anything really. But I was planning on, I think, using the park on my next card. So I had a good idea for the next card, and now I can't remember what it is. Oh no, I remember now. Okay, well, it's not a good idea. I don't know whether it will work or not, but I'm hoping it will work. Okay, so then I kind of just need to decide on how I want this to go. I think I'm going to go from the bottom up. I'm not so much bothered about the house and things. It's more the garden. We're just imagining that this dog is living next to somebody with the most immaculate garden, who would never let them in because they would wreck the garden or bury a bone in it. And it's just, Henry likes to go charging through the bushes looking for mice. But there you go. George doesn't do the bushes. So my glues, I don't think I've said so far today, but this is the all-purpose glue, Kalau all-purpose glue, same as the Hunkydory glue. This is the Kalau tacky glue. It's a PVA sort of water-based glue. I'm not going to use the PVA on this one. I will use the glue dot runner, just because this is a paper, and as I do say, the PVA glue has a water content in it, and I find for me here in my environment, and it may be different elsewhere, but the water content tends to make the paper bubble up, and that I do not like at all. Okay, so I'm just gonna put it on. So by using the all-purpose glue and those glue dots, it means I've still got that ability to move that into place to get the best possible scenario for my sort of mat into position. But if I press those dots down, that's going to hold that in position, and we're not going to have any problems. So now you can see we've got that bit of garden coming through. Okay, so again we can go back to our normal glues now because we're on the cardstock, and we'll put some tacky in the corners. The tacky and the glue pen, they do the same thing. They just really just speed up the drying time, make sure everything stays in the position so I can move on. You don't necessarily have to have both glues, and like I say, glues, they all work somewhat differently in different environments, so you know, use what is best for you or where you are. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. So we've got our lovely little garden peeping through. Like I say, if you didn't want to do as many support struts, maybe do 4, so you've got more of that image coming through. It's totally up to you. So I thought the best image, to go on there, is going to be this dog. He's sized quite nicely for that fence. He's also got a bit of grass, and he's got the bucket of flowers. Now, I'm not going to use all of his layers. I'm going to do the same as I did to the Frenchie. I mean, equally the Frenchie without his layers could go on there, although he did have a planter as well, didn't he? So he would work quite well there as well. I mean, even having maybe both together, although I think the beagle in real life is slightly taller than our Frenchie. So let's see. So I want this next layer here. You stay there, we're not ready for you yet, mister. And then we want, let's just pop them all out, and then we can divide the layers up. So So I don't want him to be too... Oh no, why am I popping him out? I don't want him yet. Losing my marbles. Okay, so let's pop all of our little beagle. Trying to think, I think beagle is one of the few dogs I've never known anybody have. So I haven't got a name for him, so if anybody out there in YouTube land has a beagle, feel free to add your beagle name in, and that's what we'll call him from now on, or her. So we've got ears, we've got a nose. I don't know if I'm going to use all of these, to be honest. We've got flowers. Oops, a bit rough there. Flowers. More flowers. More flowers. We've got this lovely sentiment wishing you a tail wagging time, so that is going to go up there. And I think that is it for now. So let's pop our doggies. Actually, I'm going to pop that out of there, otherwise I'm not going to see if the video goes off. Okay, so let's see what we have. So I'm going to have the bucket. So we'll have that, we'll keep him, we'll have him, we'll lose him, have him, and an ear. What's that one? That's his front leg. Save those. Might put them on that dog, might not. And then I'm not sure about the flowers. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just put some foam pads on the back of here and just get them ready. I'm just going to do that off camera just to make the video a little shorter. So I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so we've got all those put on. The only thing I did think about just before, luckily before I put anything on this one, is that I obviously don't want any pads to be poking, showing through on the other side. So I want to keep it nice and clean. So what I've decided to do is not to put any pads on this base layer. I'm going to just pop him down. I'm going to pop some, if I just pop that there, I'm going to pop some tacky glue down on all here. Obviously it dries clear, so if we do just get it not quite in the right place, it's not going to be as much of an issue as seeing the pads through on the other side. It's just a tiny bit there. A little bit of glue under his tail. Actually, it might just bring him down a tad. It doesn't quite look like he's floating in the air. I think that looks okay. Like I say, you can have him right at the bottom if you want to. But I'm hoping he's going to also provide a little bit of strength to the card. Okay, oops, that's a big mistake. Okay, so let's get some of these layers on. Oh, I forgot to take it back off on there. So I did just give these a little shape, and before I took the backs off, sort of rounded them round. Little doggy arm. And just lining up his features. Put a little bit of glue on his collar. Down. I haven't put a pad on the back of his collar, so I'm hoping that will glue. Let me just pop those little reverse tweezers on there a minute while that's hopefully setting, if I've put enough glue under it. And it's just because I didn't put any pads on the collar. That's all. So I want that collar to go quite flat towards the other side. So there's his leg. And his little back leg. There they are. Let's see, how are you doing? Are you? Yeah, see, that's done. Just need a little bit of help. Now, I didn't take the backs off these flowers because I wasn't sure if I was going to use them, but let's see. I think they're going to look quite nice. I mean, obviously you could use these down here if you wanted to. I'm not going to put that daisy on again. I will put this little, maybe an aster. I'm not sure what it's called, this flower. I think it might be an aster, or maybe a Michaelmas daisy, something like that. I just pop that one in. Okay, and then we've got our little sentiment. So I'm going to bring that down so it's on the top of the fence. There. Now I am going to bring some gems in because it is a card. I think I'm going to go with the red because red is the sort of main colour that you see. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think we'll just go with 3. We'll go with 1. It's supposed to come out quite so fast. Bob there, come on. Okay. Pop the bubble. Then I'm going to pop a bit of dirt there. Not dirt, just a bit of fluff. I'll put one on this side. Okay, and I'm going to leave it at that. So it's quite a clean and simple card for me, considering it's a Hunkydory. Now, what I would say, there's no reason why you couldn't come in and cut around some of these bushes and pop those at the bottom so that they're on that side. Obviously just being wary of where you're gluing them on the other, because of on the other side. For places to write, I would say either the back or on that little inside piece there. I'm not going to put an insert on it, obviously. I'm going to leave that as it is. It's going to stand nicely. As you'll see when I take a picture of it, it's got, you know, it feels fairly sturdy, and I think that decoupage really has helped it sort of set. I think probably I could get away with just 4 posts maybe, or 3, so you could see more of the background, but for today's project there's an idea of just making, I think it's called a split something. Split something front. I'll have a quick check. I did find it, what the name of it was, and I'll tell you when I come back, because I'm just now going to get set up for card number 2. Okay, so coming back again with another piece of the 6x12 300 GSM cardstock, and I've got another piece of acetate there. So let me cut this down. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut this down to 7 inches, and then I want a piece that's going to be 1 inch. And then again, the same with this acetate there. I'm going to cut this to just under 6 by 6. Okay. And then if I bring in my scoreboard, again remember there is the coating on the acetate that needs to be taken off. And then if I bring in my scoreboard, apologies, the camera battery decided to die. Luckily it made a little noise, so I knew what was going on. Right, so I've scored this at 1 inch so that the card size, oh, I can't even say, card size is still going to be 6 by 6. Actually, I'm going to fold that way because it's just slightly whiter on that side. Okay, and I'll keep that way. Okay. So this is, as I said, the not Hunkydory, the Crafter's Companion acetate. So that will have a little covering on it to protect. So you just have to use your knife or pokey tool, just sort of in the corner, and then you'll get this covering coming off, and then your acetate goes from a cloudy to a sparkling clean, cleaner than the windows. Okay. Let's grab some red liner glue, red liner tape, and I'm just going to pop 2 pieces. I'm not going too close to the edge. If this was thicker, I would just use 1 piece, but it's not, so I'm not, basically. So let's just put that one onto there, and that is the whiter side. So again, you just don't want to go too close to the edge, because if you do, when you put your layers on, it's not going to be hidden. So if you put it sort of just, about to there, because remember your layer is going to come about a notch in, so that will make sure that everything stays hidden. So let's just give that a really good burnish down. And I'll burnish the tape while I'm there. Okay, and normally with these sort of cards, I probably go with about a 2 inch gap, but because of the scene that I'm doing behind, I'm doing a larger gap. So we've got a 4 inch gap on this one when it's all said and done. So this all-purpose glue did work really well at sticking the acetate last time. I think it was Pauline that was saying it was good for that, so thank you, Pauline. Hunkydory. And I'm just going to make sure this acetate is in the middle. It doesn't particularly matter if it's straight, although obviously I want it to be, but once I've got it where I want it to stay, I'm going to whip that tail off, and the other tail has very unhelpfully decided to stick back down. So hopefully, because we did loosen it, let's grab my little tweezers. There we go. Now I can just pull that one out as well, and that's job well done. Okay, so this piece is a lot easier in that, actually I'm going to take the whole thing off and we'll hope for the best. You line it up with the bottom of your card so you want it exactly flush. I'm going to pop a little bit of all-purpose around. And then I'm going to come over and just straight out on it. And then that is going to be our card. Looks a bit messy at the moment, but we're going to do some nice layers and hide that. Okay, speaking of layers, let's bring in our trimmer. And obviously it's gold foiling, so we're going to come in with that gold again, and the back piece is going to be exactly the same as the previous card. So I'm going 2 notches under one, 2 notches under one, 2 notches under the 6 and 2 notches under the 6 the other way. And hopefully that should be a really nice inside mat on there, and it is. And then the next one is going to be one of these images, and I had decided on the park one. Now I think, let's bring our little Yorkie in. I kind of feel like if I get this bottom section here, that's going to work out better for us. Obviously you're not going to see a first inch of it because that's going to be my border, but we're going 5 3/4 square, hopefully. Yep, so that's on there. And then for these pieces here, obviously they're 1 by 6. I think I've got some little pieces here, a bit of glue on there, and just see if we can get it to go straight. So I'm going 2 notches under the 1 and 2 notches under the 6. We'll see how that fits on. It looks good. I'm not going to try it again with that smaller piece, but we will try with a slightly bigger one. So 2 notches under the 1 and keep that for die cutting butterflies and things. And that hopefully should fit quite nicely at the top, and it does. Okay, and I don't think I want to go with that tree pattern. Maybe my favourite piece with this blue. There's just going to be a little hint. So this is going to be 3/4 of an inch by 5 3/4. And luckily this print goes anyway, so it's a great print. There we go, 2 5 3/4. So that's there, and I think that's it for the minute. So let's get rid of that little bit there and bring these over. Okay, so let's start with the back first of all. Our usual, or my usual, all-purpose glue first of all, and then tacky glue. Underneath. Okay, we're just going to smidge that way and then press down. This one, because it's the paper again. If it's matte-tastic paper you're using, you're alright with the PVA glue. I think it holds it quite well, but this shiny paper doesn't. So I think if you're brave enough, then the tape is probably the best thing to use on it, but I am not brave enough. So, but I have found that this combination of glue with the all-purpose and that dotty tape pen has been working for me, touch wood, so far. Okay, so that's where we're at with that one. Now these ones, because we're sticking onto the acetate, I need to pop a little bit of the red liner tape on again. So again, just going to pop it around about in the same place I did before. And finally reach that point to be stuck to me. I had a bit left over, so I stuck it on the reel so that I would use it, but I've never used it, and like I finally reached it by using the roll. Right, okay, so just a bit on the top and the bottom. Once we've done this, it's only the bit of acetate that we we need to be concerned about. Everything else will take normal glues. I can pop those scissors away now. I don't think I'm going to need those again. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to do the same again as I did before. A little bit of a tail. A little bit of a tail. And if I give that a good burnish down, hopefully it will stay. So I'm going to pop some all-purpose glue in the middle. And I'm going to start lining up from this end here. And hopefully by the time I reach that side, we should be pretty much in the district or in the region. I can pop that one off. And then if it wants to be picked up, I can do that one as well. Okay, so that is good. And then this one, let's attempt to do the same. Let's see if it's second time lucky. Good burnish down. Some all-purpose glue. Just not too much because we don't want it oozing. We are using mirror card after all. And again, I'm going to line it up here. Get it pretty much in the middle. And we can go ahead and glue that down. Just make sure we stay in position at that other end. And lovely. Happy with that. Okay, oops. So then we can come in with these. Again, I'm going to use my purpose glue. Some dots at the end. This is the paper. I can sort of float it into the right position again. And then when I'm happy, I'll give that a good press down. Let's put the dots on first. I always forget. I don't know why I always forget. Well, I do know why I always forget. I always forget a lot of things. But again, not going mad with that all-purpose glue because we don't want it oozing. I'm going to pop that up on that piece. Sorry if you see my head. Yep, I'm happy with that. There we go. So that's where we're at. So now we have our little doggy. So you've got two choices really. You can stick him on and stick him to the bottom of that bar, and then you're still going to have it nice and neat on the other side. But what I thought I would do is bring, here's my Posca pen. I treated myself to some glitter Posca pens. So what did I do with the decoupage? Here it is. I want to know my next layer covers. So I'm just going to pop this next layer out a second. So I know that it's going to go over the whole of the dog and the whole of the bench. So what I'm going to do is just put my red liner tape onto my dog, just a couple of little pieces. Should be okay there. Okay, that's a slightly bigger piece. The bench is going to be covered up, so I'm safe to put my glues there. So anywhere where you know is going to be covered up, we are safe to put our glue. Okay, so I'm going to take those pieces off. Oops, I'm going to put my thumb right in them for some random reason. Those red pieces are just stuck to my wall. Okay, so let's see, where do we want him to be? going to go there. So I'm going to give that a good press down. Okay, so when we put this over the top, I might actually just cut this a little bit in between his paws so that it looks like he's coming out. What's the next one doing? So I should have gone a little higher maybe, but not to worry. So just gonna give him a little snip. And obviously a lot of the makes that I've seen, they have pretty much just gone with the pieces like this, popping them in places. So, you know, you can always do that if you wanted it to be a little easier. But yeah, that is going to be fine. So what I'm going to do now is just put some foam pads on the back of here. Let me just work out which ones I am going to have. So let's just pop them all out. We've had quite a lot of Jack Russells in the family, but this one, the face, although the colouring is not the same, the face reminds me of Gemma, but she was a Sheltie crossover Jack Russell, so she had the sort of Sheltie colours. But what's that little bit there? Is that a bit of the other one? I think that might be the other one, a bit of flower. Okay, so that is there. So we are not using that one. We are using that one, then 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 that one, that one, and that one. I probably might put his ears on this one. Okay, so I'm going to put pads on and get them ready just to stop you watching some boring TV. Bear with me 2 seconds. Okay, so I've put all of the backs on now. Full disclosure as well, what I also did was I went in and I just cut this little bit of blue sky away because it kind of looked a bit better to my eye without that sky being there, because why would there be sky and then a bench, basically. Okay, so for this first layer, unfortunately, because we're going on to acetate, don't put any PVA glue on the back, otherwise it won't stick. So you really just get one shot at it. Yeah, that's right. I couldn't work out why he had 2 paws there, but he does. So this next layer there, we can go back to normal because we're going back onto the cardstock. So a little bit of tacky glue just to give us that a bit of wiggle room time. Just gives me that little bit of confidence. And again, I had to go around and trim all of the ears, which was a bit of a pain in the proverbial, but it's going to look better in the long run. I didn't want to not say something, you know, in case yours didn't turn out the same. If you're copying and you go, oh, well, why have I got that sky there? So I just went around and trimmed those ears. Okay, so we've got his little nose, his little boop nose and tongue. There he is. Oh, look at that! How cute is he? Or she? Well, we're calling her Gemma. So let's have a look. This one is, oh, it is that ear. So have I got that the wrong way around? I have. Let's go in that way. There he is. Oh, so cute. I'm guessing that one's going that way around because it's got the green at the top. There we go. Okay, and I am going to use the sentiment that comes with it. I think, can I get away with just popping that on the edge? Yeah. So rather than trying to work out where that's going to go, if I put that foam pad there, I can then pop that on. We've got are especially for you, and no workings behind. So that is, I like that. I think I would have preferred it if the dog was on this side, to be honest, because it looks a bit weird having a bench there and a bench there. But if that bench was on this side, I think it would look better. So if I was going to do it again, that is what I would do. Let's bring these big gems out again. But we'll go with the dark blue this time because we've used the blue paper. So let's just pop a few of those out. And I'm going to go with 2 and 1. If you've got any little sort of bone shaped gems or little ball or what was the other thing I was just thinking about? Not a bone, not a ball. Oh, it's gone out of my head now. Any sort of dog related charms. I have got some really nice dog charms, but I'm not sure where they are on the top of my head, otherwise I will put them in. But they're more like brads than, you know, the split pins. They're more like those type. But that is our card number 2. Obviously we've still got a little dog here, and our little beagle yet to be named, Doris obviously from the last one. And then if I bring that other card in, the one we made, the split front one with the fence, like I say, I think 2 interesting ways of using them. I think hindsight I wouldn't do so many of these planks. I think I probably would have taken, maybe put 4 in so that was a bigger space, or you can go narrower, but I think that would probably work better so that you could see more of the fence, the garden through. But I like the idea, and the concept of it works well with these toppers. I think, you know, you can put that on the front. You don't really have to have so much of it doesn't matter that it's an odd shape. I mean, this, like I say, this one with, because he's got the pot of flowers, or she's got the pot of flowers, little Doris, so you know, that one would equally go well there. I think the Labradors and the bigger dogs probably wouldn't suit this type of card, because normally they would come up to the top of the fence, and obviously these toppers would be smaller. But anyway, that is it for today. So thank you so much for watching. What I will do is take some nice pictures of these, put them on Pinterest, and they will go up on Facebook as well, probably before the video goes up, because the video usually takes a couple of hours to sort of edit, put together, and it has to resave in a different file format, which this is quite an old computer, so it does take a while. But I will put those up. This video will go up. Obviously, let me know what you think. You know, whether you think this needs more or less. Like I say, you could probably even get away with 2 bars there. I think if it was opened up a bit more would be even better, but I'm happy with it. I think it suits that, so I'm happy, and I'm happy with that one. I think if I did my normal 2 inches, you know, thinking that, let's see, have I got anything that's about 2 inches? Yeah, so if you were only getting like that amount of image through, obviously it's the wrong way, but I think you wouldn't get the full effect. I think having that bigger piece behind it is going to work in its favour, and obviously the insert would go on the back, or the writing would go on the back. But that's it for today. Coming back next time, I did have one request to carry on, so I will do another page of these. I will pick the harder pages. I think there's one with a shaped topper and one with a square topper, but I've got a few ideas, and we'll see what we come up with then. But thank you, like I say, for joining me. I've said it 3 times, so I really am thankful, and I'll see you next time. But until then, happy crafting. Bye bye.